What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. That's right, you're through to the chopping block. Now, let's get on with this. It should be of no surprise that this guy's on here, and I think slowly but surely, people are starting to realize that shit, we actually need to move him on. And that is Mesut Ozil. He's been on every single chopping block that I've done since I've done chopping blocks. And you'd be wrong in thinking I've always felt like that. I had a lot of hopes when Mesut Ozil came in 2013. It signified something different. It signified Arsenal buying him, signified us buying someone who I thought was an A-list player. Someone who I thought, oh, okay, yeah, we're not messing around now. Now we're starting to see the promises that Weasel promised us when he was talking about us competing with Bayern Munich and yada yada yada. I thought, well, this was an evidence of that. This is us starting to move in that right direction. Bear in mind, at this time in 2013, I wasn't banging out. I was very much still had the faith, and I thought, okay, now this is the next wave of Arsenal players that's going to take us towards that greatness. And boy, was I wrong. Was I so wrong about him? Actually, I think season on season, there was one season, I think it was the season where Leicester won the league, where he had all those assists, and as it turned out, it was his best season for Arsenal. And then since then, he's gotten steadily worse until last season. As far as I'm concerned, he had more of a contribution to Fortnite than he did the Arsenal pitch. Sick note Ozil, simple as that. And to me, I think his time is done. It's been done some time. It's been done a while, but I think his time is up, and we must put the club first. Easier said than done, Chick. Yep, absolutely. I got into interesting debates with certain people, certain friends of the show, like Frimpong, and me and him were going back and forth on Twitter about how we actually achieve that. And I saw a story this week about how Paul Pogba is looking to leave Man United, and Inter Milan are sniffing around Lukaku. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, but that's because they wanted to leave. Yeah, they only want to leave because it's been made abundantly clear to them that they have no future at the club. My frustration, and this is where I do have a frustration with Emery, is that he conducted this post-mortem, which I think is a reasonable thing to do. Speaking as a HR person, it's a reasonable thing where if you as a collective, as a team, have underperformed, you need to try and investigate why and how. And if there are people who you see to be dramatically underperforming, or people who seemingly don't care about the cause, you advise them accordingly and tell them, do they have a future at the business? This is where things like golden handshakes and stuff like that get involved. This is the conversation I expected him to have with Mesut Ozil, to have with Skodjan Mustafi, to have with wishful thinking Granit Xhaka, to have with Henrik Mkhitaryan. And from my understanding, all of the conversations he had with everybody, it was almost borderline encouraging, which lets me think that maybe he plans to carry on with most of this team into next season, which is incredible to me. It's incredible. At a minimum, he needs to get rid of Ozil, Mustafi, and Mkhitaryan. Even if you didn't think you wanted to get rid of Xhaka, get rid of those three at the very least. And that to me is just, it's mind-boggling that he would even have that sort of thought process. But this is where we are. And this is how big clubs make big moves. And it's not just about being brave, it's about letting people know that, listen, you underperformed badly last season. We can't afford that. I'm sorry. So your time's up. So you're better off finding a club, or we'll find one for you. These are the messages that I would like my club to act. And in the case of Mesut Ozil, who says he's determined to stay, he feels like he can outlast Emery. This is where you need the club to back you. This can't be an Emery call. This has to be a club call. So, Raul, this is how you earn your money. I wouldn't throw this on Edu's desk. Edu's only just coming in. Raul, this is how you make your money. Vinay, this is how you're talking about, oh, well, if you don't sign your contract and you've got 2 years left, we bounce you. This is the opportunity to prove it. So for me, I hate this idea and this notion that we as a club have to hide behind money, and that's the only way to get these people out. No, that's not the only way to get these people out. Ultimatums, being quite frank with them, paying people off if you need to, get rid and make the moves and act like a big club, or act like a club that needs to at least take care of their finances and be more economical with their finances. We can't afford to pay £350,000 a week for a fortnight player. Sorry. So for me, if it was up to me, I would have got rid of Ozil way before now. But at the very least, we need to just be honest with him and say, yeah, mate, we've got to get rid. Sorry. These are the reasons. We've got to make some cuts, and we just feel as though at this moment in time, you are the person that we need to get rid of. And in the case of Mesut Ozil, he's not been that player. The Real Madrid player that we thought we were getting, we ain't seen it nearly enough. We ain't even seen it 30% of the time. And I think he's an amazing politician. And here's where I'm going to go a bit controversial and a bit left, but hopefully it all makes sense. I'm about to make a wrestling reference. John Cena. John Cena has been the face of WWE for about 17 years. Very divisive character. Some people love him, some people hate him. Generally, it'll be the kids that love him, it'll be the adults that hate him. Ladies tend to like him as well, right? He has been essentially WWE's poster boy for 17 years. Until recently, really, as he started to transition more into Hollywood. Now, the thing with that situation, what does that have to do with Mesut Ozil? Stay with me for a second, right? One thing that John Cena that the WWE used to love getting John Cena to do is these make-a-wish things, right? These type of things whereby a wrestler would go and visit a sick kid in the hospital, and I hate to sound cynical and horrible here, but it's essentially a photo op where these people would go and do these kind, sweet things for sick children. There happened to be a camera around, and it happened to be on social media. And John Cena, fair play to him, has done a lot more than most. He's done a ridiculous amount of Make-A-Wish projects. I notice a very interesting correlation between Ozil's PR charity stunts and whenever the heat is on him. Whenever people are starting to write him off, whenever people are starting to doubt him, whenever things aren't going so well, all of a sudden you'll start to see stories of how Mesut Ozil's done an amazing thing for a disabled guy, who's done an amazing thing for, like apparently he's going to pay for the medical care to 1,000 kids. An amazing thing. Admittedly, doesn't have to do that. But what is his benefit? It's the PR side of it. The PR side of it means that, well, it doesn't necessarily matter what he's doing on the pitch. It's the amazing things he's doing off the pitch. So Arsenal should keep that, and it wins fans. It wins plaudits. It makes those diehards even stronger than they were before. Because, admittedly, it's an amazing thing. But why does he only ever do it when he's in problems? That's the thing that I wonder. And much like the John Cena situation where, and this is where I find the two quite comparable, is that both of them, apparently, when you meet them in real life, they're not particularly warm people. They're not people who are necessarily people who you would associate, allegedly, before I put that out there, they're not necessarily people who you would associate would take their time and do those things out of choice, the things that they do for kids out of choice. But both of them do because they understand the benefits it has to their career. Both of them are fantastic at what they do. Their PR game is on point. At some point, you have to realize that you can't afford £350,000 a week for a good PR team. Mesut Ozil, I think, somewhere along the line, you forgot how to be the wonderful player that at one time or another, I think you were. From my point of view, and this is entirely selfish from me, I will be pissed off if being forced to keep Mesut Ozil means we lose out on someone like a Ziyech, who I believe, in an ideal world, is what Arsenal would want to replace Mesut Ozil with. Because I don't think they see Ziyech as a winner, I think they see him as a number 10. And what a number 10 that would be. And I suppose, in my own opinion, I just feel as though what else is there left to do with him as Mesut Ozil? You know, what else is there left for him? If I was him, I'd say to myself, all right, maybe my England adventure is done. Maybe go to Italy. Just got married. Not many women dislike the idea of living in Italy. Go to Italy. Move to somewhere in Italy. Take a little bit of a pay cut. You can afford it. Let's be real. And just go out there and just spend the next couple of years playing out there. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you do pretty well out there. But for me, I just feel as though for us to progress, we need to get rid of Mesut Ozil. And unfortunately for Emery, I believe his success dictates whether or not he can get rid of Mesut Ozil, because if he can and bring in a player he actually wants, he may be able to keep this Arsenal job. Next year is going to be a big year for him. It's going to be a big year for him. He's got to make a quick start, a good start, or by Christmas, he could be out of a job, which is a very foreign idea to us. It's a very foreign idea of us losing a manager halfway through the season. So, from my point of view, for his sake, I would like to see Mesut Ozil go. And this can't be an Emery call. Because a lot of the papers at the moment are talking about how Ozil feels as though he can outlast Emery. This has to be a board call. They have to fully back the manager. If they don't, then what's the point? Then this next season might as well be a write-off. We count down the days until Emery gets sacked, and then don't get excited until someone else new comes in. That's the only way I can see it. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, crush, destroy, please drop kick that like button. I appreciate it when you guys do that. Apologies for how long the chopping block has taken. Hopefully you've liked this one, and I'll be back next week for another episode of the chopping block. See you later.